Well, in case you haven't already seen or heard, on Saturday, June 19th, 2021, one of the original Supras from the first movie sold at Barrett-Jackson. The winning bid was close to the $550,000 price I predicted it would fetch, but the car actually sold for $500,000, but with the buyer's premium it came out to $550,000. So I was right, or I was close, you decide. But was it worth that price? We'll find out right after the break. Did you know that the average driver gets 9 traffic tickets in their lifetime? Look, I'll be the first to admit that I've taken maybe a couple of liberties with traffic laws back in the day. And of course, when I got caught, I had to go to court to fight the ticket, which was always a hassle. And each time that I lost my case, it meant big fines, points on my record, and higher insurance premiums. Eventually, I realized that nothing beats having a good attorney argue your case in court. So here's what you do. You download the Off the Record app to your phone and register for an account. And if you get a ticket, simply upload a photo of your ticket into the app and you will be quickly matched with a lawyer in your jurisdiction. Your lawyer will start working your case right away, and in most cases, you'll never have to set foot in a courtroom. Off the Record has a 97% success rate and a 4.9 star rating on Google. And guess what? They even offer a money-back guarantee if they aren't able to reduce the points or keep that ticket fully off your record. Best of all, I've arranged a 10% discount for all of my YouTube viewers, so download the app and register using the referral code FASTLIFE to receive 10% off your first case. In truth, my $550,000 prediction was in the middle of many guesses from people who know about auctions like this. At face value, that's a good amount of appreciation, considering that when Universal bought this car and to turn it into a movie car back in April of 2000, we paid $24,000 for the car. I'd say they made a good profit, right? But of course, somebody else owned it after Universal. But as the world woke up to the news, Monday morning quarterbacks had already taken to the internet, lamenting the sale price with all of the usual predictable comments that you would expect, like this Pearl. Oh, it's just a stock Supra with 100,000 miles on it, bro. My Supra will smoke it, bro. Bless your heart. Makes me question my whole life. Part of the problem is when someone says the Supra from the Fast and Furious just sold, it creates confusion. Why? Because there was more than one Supra in the original Fast and Furious movie. I know you only saw one, the orange one, but there were actually 8 cars. Some of you already know this. There were 8 total Supras in the first movie. Each served a different purpose, and each of them were built as replicas to my Supra. Okay, let me slow it down and explain a little further for those people who are kind of new to this content. My Supra served as the Hero 1 car, which we also call the first unit principal car. This is the way it's done in every movie that has cars that are going to see action. You have a Hero 1, which is the nice shiny one. Now, that car was mine back in 2001, and I sold it, and that car now lives in the Netherlands, which is in Europe for people who didn't have geography in school, or maybe you were sick that day. And the car still lives there today. So no, it wasn't that car. Now, there was a backup to my car, which was designated as Hero number 2. Okay, see where I'm going with this? We also had stunt cars. Guess what we named the 2 stunt cars? Good, you got it. Stunt car number 1 and stunt car number 2. Boom, we can move on. We also had a couple of extra cars, and I won't go into detail on those other cars because, frankly, it would be very confusing to a lot of people because they use industry terms like process car or mic rig car and all that kind of stuff. And if you really want to find out about that stuff, you can watch some of my other videos. Short answer, when someone says the Supra, people are going to continue to assume that you mean the Hero Supra, and that's not the case. So the car that sold at the Barrett-Jackson auction this weekend was not the Hero car. It was stunt car number 1. Everybody got it? Stunt car number 1 saw some light action sequences, but what made it unique is that it was actually driven by Paul in the scene, where Paul does an e-brake slide, slides the car sideways, points a pistol out of the window, and then shoots Johnny Tran. Remember that scene? Now, how do I know that was the exact car since we had 8? I'll tell you how, because I was literally standing right there when that scene was filmed. In fact, I personally took these photos of that car during the scene. I was maybe 30, 40, 50 feet away, whatever. So if you're following along now, what does this tell us? We have 2 Supras that were actually driven by Paul Walker in the first Fast and Furious movie. The Hero 1 car and the stunt car, which is the car that just sold at Barrett-Jackson. What makes a car like this worth more than a standard Toyota Supra? That's a good question. It's provenance. It's the story behind the car. So movie cars, especially those that were driven by a superstar like Paul Walker, and arguably the greatest car movie franchise in history, will simply command a premium price over their regular counterparts. This is why a regular Toyota Supra today, you can buy one for about $100,000, $150,000, and this one went for $500,000. And of course, this car wasn't just in the first movie, it was refurbished, redesigned, and featured in Too Fast, Too Furious. And that adds more to the story, right? Because now what are we talking about? We are talking about a car that was in 2 movies. But wait, there's more. It was also in the garage scene in Tokyo Drift, although it had a minor appearance and it was kind of hidden behind other cars. So now you have a car that was in all 3 of the original movies and played a major role in 2 of those movies. Yet another commenter proclaimed that he saw this car sell for $5,000 a few years ago. Yeah, bro, you mean this car, the one that sold at Mecum for $185,000 in 2015? And that car that sold at Mecum was a non-turbo 5-speed car, and it was a stunt car. The interior had been gutted out of that car, completely replaced with sheet metal panels. All the gauges were gone, no nitrous stuff, no air conditioning, and most importantly, Paul Walker never touched that car. The car that just sold at Barrett also still had a lot of the equipment that you would see on the car in the first movie. Some of the gauges were still there, the upholstery was done correctly, the roll bar was there, but it had been repainted black. There had some of the nitrous equipment in the back of the car, it had the right tires and wheels, it had the right body kit and all that kind of stuff. It also had underwent a 5-year restoration. And for those of you who have been asking me, hey Craig, what do you think your old car would sell for? Well, your guess is certainly as good as mine. People need to understand that the sale and trading of movie and celebrity cars is big business, and it's an interesting world. It's filled with collectors, speculators, museum owners, investors, and wealthy outsiders who gravitate to perhaps a certain person, a certain celebrity, a certain movie, or even a certain historical event. And so for some people, this isn't about investment, it's an emotional purchase. So there's often very little rationale to a purchase, as many decisions are based purely on emotions. And when emotional buyers enter the market, there's no way to predict pricing or even the true value of any car with any accuracy. That's it for this time, everybody. Thank you for watching, and if you've been watching and finding my content even remotely interesting, please subscribe. And of course, don't forget to check the video description down below for special offers from my sponsors. Until next time, take care.